For more reaction on the day's proceedings, we're joined by Ian Allis, is a criminal law expert. Ian, good evening to you. Thanks for your time. Not the first time that we have seen what sounds like quite a chaotic crime scene, but also just in the way that it has been handled by police. What do you take out of the evidence that has come out of these two key witnesses for the state who were some of the first to arrive on that scene?
Good afternoon, Kathy, and good afternoon to the viewers as well, and good afternoon, Stephen. To me, from what I'm observing, the police may well, and pardon the pun in the circumstances, be well on their way to scoring an own goal in this situation from how it's arising. The chain of custody, from what is understood from the testimony today, may well be compromised, as well as the fact is from the testimony of the previous witness that there should have been things that should have been done very, very differently. And it seems as if everybody, especially the police, got sucked into the whole palaver of the celebrity instead of going and investigating the crime scene and collecting the evidence that they're supposed to go ahead and do and make sure that the chain of custody is preserved and the crime scene was properly cordoned off. So with all the theatrics that are going on and the sideshow evidence is what was indicated, and the sideshow what was indicated by the judge, the problem is that's facing the prosecution right now is the extent of how the evidence was in actual fact compromised.
One of the difficulties, of course, is that even just picking up where Thabo Mosia left off, there are a lot of questions that remain unanswered, including who exactly the individuals that are said to be high profile were on the scene and the role that they played then ultimately in the preservation or lack thereof of that scene. And one certainly gets the sense of that even listening to today's witness, that there was a lot going on, but nobody seemed to be in control, at least from the police side.
What it seems like is with regards to the crime scene itself, it sounds like organized chaos took place. And unfortunately, because of the high-profile nature of who the victim in actual fact was, I think it became more, and this is what I see from my opinion in dealing with criminal matters, especially high-profile criminal matters, is the police kind of got more involved with the profile of the man instead of just sticking to the basics and dealing with the chain of custody and the interviewing of the potential witnesses that were there and making sure statements were taken correctly, evidence was collected properly, the crime scene was cordoned off and all the forensics were done in a proper manner. Instead, it sounds like there was a barrage of people arriving there and the grid got compromised.
Ian, we may still hear from quite a number of other witnesses, at least on behalf of the state, regarding this crime scene. How important is this evidence going to be, especially if its credibility already is under such great scrutiny?
The state, in all due respect, seems to be in a bit of a mess with regards with the prosecution of this matter already. There's been issues with regards with the second docket. There's been other issues, and I'm taking out of account all of the other theatrics where we had with Advocate Mthethwa and all of that. If you look, there's been a second docket, which already creates an issue of reasonable doubt. Then one actually looks at the collection of evidence being compromised, the chain of custody being compromised, witnesses not being 100% sure of what their facts were. It's starting to look very glum for the state, with all the other factors being taken out of account, and then still wanting to go back and possibly investigate into the other docket. The onus is on them, and they're the ones who have to prove guilt beyond a reasonable doubt, not the defense. The pressure is on the state, and it looks to me more and more like the state is folding.
As it stands, we have not had any of the exhibits in as far as items collected off the scene, including some of the bullet cartridges that we told have been collected as part of this investigation. Those have not been presented before the court. Could those be a big turning point in as far as being able to secure convictions here, regardless of whether it is a guilty or not guilty?
Well, the ballistics are obviously going to be very important from the aspect that Mr. Meyiwa passed away as a result of the injuries from a gunshot related inflicted injury. So ballistics is imperative in this. Furthermore, things such as fingerprints, whether those were taken, whether any guns, whether the firearms were found, where they were found, any gunshot residue, the exhibits are going to be of utmost importance, especially when it comes with dealing with murder-related trials, because realistically, your victim is not there to testify as to who actually did the crime. So the state, when it comes with producing the exhibits, is going to have to tighten up a lot more with regards with presenting the physical evidence in respect of what actually was collected and how it was tested, and especially relating to the ballistics.
All right. Well, certainly some of the difficulties, of course, that face the police on a day-to-day basis as they're doing their jobs coming to light yet again as a result of this trial. Ian Allis is a criminal law expert.